everyone. Today we have a problem where we have a data of student attendance table where for each date we have one column whether student was present or absent, y is present and n is absent. So now we need to write a query to identify those students who are consecutively absent for more than 2 days. So here in the sample data we can see the student ID was absent on 18th, 19th and 20th. So he was absent consecutively for 3 days. So this should be included in our output. And if you see student ID 2, he was absent on 17, 19 and 21. So he was also absent on 3 days, but that was not consecutively, so it should not be included in our output. So let's see how we can approach this problem in SQL query. Now let's see if you have to uh, get the count of this whole table. What you would do simply, you would simply write count, right, from table attendance or whatever the table name is. So this will give you count 10 because there are 10 rows. But if you need count for each student, you will write here group by student ID, and then this will give you count 5 and 5 because for each count for each student there are 5 rows. So the whole approach is based on this group by. For student ID, for different student ID, the group by is very simple, that you just group by based on student ID and you will get the count of all the rows based on the different student ID. You can also put the student ID here, then you will get the count of you will get the column student ID in the result. For 1 the count will be 5, for 2 the count will be 5. But what should we do to get the count of these 3 records? And like for to get the count of consecutive records, consecutive dates, somehow we need to create the group of these consecutive dates. Currently the value of these dates are different. These are 18, 19, 20, but we need to follow some approach to make this date in one group. So the method is, what you can do, you can get one row number in this select. You don't need to group by as of now. Put one row number and do the partition by student ID. So this row number will run over these students differently, for these students, for these students, and you want this row number order by a date, attendance date. Give the alias r num. So the r num value will be for the student ID 1, 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5, because all these are on all these dates are in ascending order. And for student ID 2, again it will be started from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, because these are also in ascending order. Now if you see, the date is also in ascending order and row num as we have created in ascending order. What if we subtract row num with a date. Like if we do a date minus row num. So the values would be 17 minus 1, 16 October, 18 minus 2, 16 October, 19 minus 3 is also 16 October, 20 minus 4 is 16 October, and 21 minus 5 is also 16 October. Why? Because these dates were increasing one by one, and this row num is also increasing one by one. So in the first row we subtracted 1, in the second row we subtracted 2, so the value of after subtraction became same. So the result, suppose we have named this column as date group. So date group for all these 5 columns will be same as 16 October, and also date group all 5 columns for student ID 2 will be 16 October. So the basic concept we are following here, first we are getting a row num in increasing order, and then we are subtracting this row num with the a date to find the common group, and common group is we are getting because the row num is also increasing based on 1 by 1, and date is also increasing based on 1 by 1. Hope this is clear till now, the approach we are following. After that, when we got this common group, we just we can group by based on this common group and get the column. But there is one thing, currently we have grouped all the rows, like all the present n or y, but we needed only those record which were absent, where the present flag was n. So that we can easily put as a where clause after the from at any point. So now let's see by running the queries how this approach is working. Okay, so let's now prepare the query. So let's see first the table data, that is student attendance, and there are 10 records, 5 for student ID 1 and 5 for student ID 2. You can see the dates are consecutive. Now our the first step was that what if we just get the count of this table, that is e.g. it will return 10 rows, right? And then what if we put the group by based on student ID, it will return 5 and 5 because now it is showing this 5 for student ID 1 and this 5 for student ID 2. So this group by is the first step in our approach which we are going to follow. Just the different thing is that we will not be grouping based on only student ID. We will be somehow creating the group based on the dates, and we will create common date based on the date group. So this you can also put in the select column for student ID 5, student ID 2. Okay. Now we need this row num which was in increasing order, that we needed to subtract with the date. So there was this a date and this present flag. Now write the let's write the row number for partition by student ID so that this row number gets generated different for different student ID, and it should be generated based on a date in ascending order. So order by s dot a date ascending. This ascending you can skip as this is by default, and let's give it alias as rnum. So the output should be why there is the error was because of we were missing by here. So now you can see the row num we are getting in consecutive order 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for student ID 1 and student ID 2 separately. And this row num we are going to subtract with the A date to find the common group, because the A date is also increasing one by one and the row num is also increasing one by one. So what we can do, we can simply, let's just keep this row num as it is and subtract it from A date and give this alias as date group. So here date group. Now you can see the date group is common for student ID 1, all the dates, because all the dates are consecutive and the row num are also consecutive. So 17 October minus 1, 16 October, 18 minus 2 also 16 October. The date group is common for student ID 2 as well, because the dates were same and the row num were also same. But when we will be grouping the data, we will also include the student ID in the group, and then we will get the result differently. But here one thing is we have not done yet. We have not put our where clause, that we need to work only on those records for which present flag was n, because we were to find the absent entries. We have to group by only absent entries. So here we can put present flag equal to n. Now we will get only those records which are present for, which are entered in the table for the absent entries for the student ID. So these three entries shows that student were absent on 18, 19, 20, and for these three records the date group is common. But for student ID 2, the absent he was absent on 17, 19, 21, which was not consecutive days. So here the group is also not consecutive, because the dates, there is gap between the absent dates, but there is no gap between the row num, and that is the basic approach we were following to find the common group. Now we can simply take this query in a common table expression, ct student group as, let's just copy this query, uh, and keep the alignment of the query in a definite manner so that it will be easier to read the query. Keep some common practice always in the query writing. So let's just again see the data, it will be the same. Now we are going to group by based on student and the common group we have created, g dot student id and g dot date date group, and we can get the count. So here we have got the result for student ID. For one date group we have got count 3, because the consecutive days count is 3 for this date group. But for student ID 2, we have got only we have got three rows, but with count only as one, because there is no consecutive days. Only one days can be considered as consecutive, but the count would be one. And we can simply put a having clause where we need to get those students who are absent consecutively for more than 2 days, and we will get our required result. We do not want the street group in our required result. So this was the result we wanted at the from the start. So hope we you have understood the solution and the approach. This is very common approach for many of the queries asked in the interview. So you can also practice for some other lead code questions. Thank you guys. Have a great day.